Okay, I'm going to do a little experiment now, and this is about the aerial that I got. Now you know this has a BNC connection, and pretty much all the frequency generators and the radionic devices I got from from Bacana Labs, which plug into and work alongside the Spooky 2 generators, also have BNC sockets. So some varieties of cool radionic devices out there, they have antennas, which is, it is believed you can use both powered and non-powered in order to like do something. And there's various different beliefs and hypotheses as to what it can actually do. With this one particular aerial, I'm not quite sure how it is configured and connected. The idea is that if there is any connection between the central pin on the inside and the outer sleeve, so like there's some kind of like loop going on there, there's a possibility of shorting out either your generator or your board if it is powered via a generator going into the input. Okay, so I don't want to do that. I've tested it with a multimeter and I think it's going to be okay. I'm not too sure because I don't know these things. You know, there's lots of things I don't know. So I'm going to use my cheap frequency generator. Okay, set myself, I don't know, whoops, sawtooth, sawtooth, sine wave. Okay, so move the cursor up, have a nice low frequency of 10 cycles per second, and see whether I can put a current, a frequency through the aerial, and see whether basically the whole thing burns to hell. I've not done this before. This is not a rehearsed video. This is not a scripted video or anything like that. This is just me, like, you know, playing around and hoping for the best. That's my power source, little power banky thing, and I don't know. As I say, the multimeter testing seems to make it look okay. If this does work okay without there being flames and magic blue smoke suddenly appearing, being released by the invisible wizard inside the box, then we could be okay for me to use the aerial plugged onto this, powered into the generators that come from Spooky. This is only being powered off a 5 volt device, so it could be better or not as bad as the 20 volts or more with the boost, which you can get via the Spooky 2 generators. So the only thing I can do now is to press the run button and see whether this sine frequency can go through it. It's currently on set at DC offset, which means the current will only be going one way, because I often do that sort of thing. And in theory, this could then be used to broadcast, at least for a short distance, whatever frequency I'm putting through it. That's the hypothesis. So if I am doing, I mean, if the whole idea about, you know, radionic stuff is true, then any intention you put into the system will be carried via the radio frequencies. Thus, there'll be a bigger area, bigger bubble of like boom, boom, you know, light or energy or something coming out of your device, thus carrying your intention throughout the world. That's the hypothetical, theoretical, spiritual belief type thingy bob, what's his name, Ujima Flip, you know what I mean, okay? Open to debate, open to discussion, just like everything else on the face of the planet. Okay, that's the way it is. I'm not putting money either side, but I know full well that when I do plug this into that, and it's sticking up out of the output, it somehow feels emotionally like I'm doing something, and there's some potential result which could be coming from it. So, purely from a psychological point of view, or a props-based point of view, this little bit of theatrical tooling, okay, seems to help me and my mind. But will it actually work or not? I mean, in terms of like a current going through it, I don't know. I haven't got a frequency testing thing to test the frequency coming out of the aerial, but if the aerial is connected to the frequency generator, we can assume that it probably does. So, move the good thing out the way. Because this thing could be replaced with about 20 quid, so it's not too bad if it like burns. But as you can tell, I'm a bit nervous. Let's just press the button and see what happens. Nothing's happening. That could be a good thing. That could be a very good thing. I don't know how much power is coming out of this aerial, or whether I could use this aerial for regular rifle frequency type stuff and to deliver the frequency to my body. I don't know. I just don't know. I officially don't know. I can conjugate the verb to not know. I don't know, you don't know, he don't know, she don't know, they don't know, we don't know, none of us know. Okay? but it's not burning. It's not burning up. So it could be that my multimeter testing was correct, and this aerial, which is a cheap £6 thing from eBay, is okay. Just make sure that's all nice and tight. Yeah, I'll extend it more, and just for the heck of it, make it look more technological. There we go. We're broadcasting at 10 cycles per second. Okay, all we could just do is like stop that and move the cursor. Oops, the aerial is falling on my head. 10, 9, oops. Cursor, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cycles per second. Right, lean it against the ceiling, so there we go. Now press run. And it's still not burning. Okay, run, stop. DC offset off, run, stop. And hey presto, nothing is happening. This is a good, a good sign. So we can assume now we've got an 8 cycle per second frequency coming out of the aerial. We can assume that because this is a frequency generator which generates frequencies, and it's connected as an aerial connected to it. So one assumes now that I am being broadcast to at 8 cycles per second. So if that's true, I could then use this aerial to have like more frequency pulsing out of it, which will possibly have an entrainment effect upon my mind, or my brain itself, because I'm receiving a frequency being directly like radiated out to my body when I'm doing my weird radionic-y stuff. Okay, or indeed just doing like a bit of chill out meditation, where you just like cuddle the antenna and allow the energy to pulse through my body. Okay, maybe that would actually help as well. I mean, I don't know. It's speculation. But on the other hand, if you can like generate on, let's say, one of the other generators, the 7.83 cycle per second frequency, and then connect your body up to the aerial like that, you'll be giving yourself the Schumann resonance frequency to your body. I like that. I like that idea. I like the fact that, maybe I've discovered something here. Maybe I've doing something. But what I might need to do, right, would be to attach something to my ankle, an electrode to my ankle, and have that going out to a grounding socket, so that I can then be sure that the current is flowing through me. But then the question is, what would I do with that, and why would I do it? Okay, what would I do with that? Why would I do it? Well, my theory would be that I would be receiving a frequency from here, it would be grounded, therefore my body will be pulsing in a very, 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 very low amperage, unbelievably low amperage pulse, okay, in accordance with that frequency, which could do the body some good. Maybe that would be another way of doing rifing, rife frequency therapy of sorts, obviously like low power. Or maybe it's just a way of getting the body more in tune with like a frequency which you can then like send out. Again, we've got questions here. That's the whole problem, but unfortunately it's the way it is. We always have questions, we never have answers. Okay, we have questions, we never have answers. And it's always those who say they've got answers that are questionable. That could mean you. That could mean you. That's right, you who's watching this right now. It could also mean me sometimes. I mean, I'm beneath perfect. I mean, if I was perfect, then either my life would be a lot easier or a lot harder. I'm not sure which. But what we can say, on the strength of this little experimental demonstration-y type thing, is that the generator hasn't burned up. I don't think there has been a short circuit. And I see no evidence there being a short circuit from what little I can tell from what I've just done here. Which means that this radionic device and this radionic device will now be safe for me to do radionic-y type things with an antenna. So, let's speak a little more hypothetically, shall we? Because, like, what else can we actually do? There's people all around the world who are using radionic devices for the healing of the body, healing of the mind, for agriculture, for the blessing of liquids and fluids, the treatment of plants and all sorts. Okay, basically it's a form of spiritual healing, it's a form of magic. Okay, the energy comes, it's believed, with this type of setup, that the energy comes from the frequency generator, goes into an input plate, which will have something you want to put in. Okay, which could be the symbol, stones, or medicines, or anything you want to duplicate or send out. Then, with a bit of meditation and dowsing, you're tuning your little dially things into the intention that you're sending out, and then hey presto, on your output plate, you're using a stick pad in order to tune things. Okay, to do your tuning of the knobs and dials, you use your stick plate to do your stick plate dowsing-y thing, and then you put the thing you want to send the stuff to the output plate. So then if you were to take something like the antenna, okay, and you were to have that plugged into the output of the output plate, because what you do is remove the connection to the stick pad, so the stick pad would then like be put away in a drawer or in a cabinet or out of the way. Okay, so because like all this stuff is now set up. Okay, and the last bit on the chain would be the output plate, via the same effect that happens with the spooky to remote device, which frightened me when it worked. Okay, frightened the living shit out of me when it worked, and that works via like quantum entanglements and that sort of thing. Okay, weird spooky proper stuff. Then maybe the addition of the aerial would provide a little bit more of a boost to some kind of signal being sent. Alright, now that could be a complete either shot in the dark or fantasy or invention of the mind, I don't know. Or it could be something which has some actual validity. I'll turn this device into a little bit more of a powerful device. Now, there is the attitude or the aspect of the belief that some of this is all psychological, because we're dealing with spiritual healing, and therefore it's the mind of the operator that's sending stuff out. That's the hypothesis from a lot of the people. So therefore that just gives credence to adding a bit more psychology to the whole fun thing, doesn't it? So using the aerial for a psychological, hey man, I'm really sending stuff out kind of like thinking, does connect. It makes psychological sense. So there could be people who get more success using the aerial, okay, than they would if they were using this device the way it is. Okay? This is just like me talking right now. I mean, I'm not some kind of like major massive expert on how the theories of radionics are supposed to operate. I'm not really a major massive expert on the incorporation of frequency therapy and all this stuff all together, all in one go, to generate something quite so amazing. I'm an experimenter. I'm a researcher. I'm a amateur geezer who's interested in strange things. But I think that now I seem to have demonstrated that when I use my proper generators, the ones which have more power, okay, and I was to incorporate the antenna and put it through the radionics board, I don't think I'm going to damage it. That's a good thing. That's a step in the right direction. Now, one more thing I'm going to add. Now, this is a bit of another subject. Okay, not talking about the friendly £7 antenna I bought from eBay. Okay, but talking more, about the device itself. I'm right cramped in this place. The ceiling's really low. Okay. Some of the more advanced or allegedly powerful devices like these, they have two more things in them, which I don't think this device has. And traditionally what people do is they add them to the device through placing them on the input plates and on the output plates. And one of them is orgonite, which is, again, one of those things I've been kind of like, yeah man, I mean, I'm a bit of a new age weirdo, and there's people out there who think that like why on earth should I listen to that guy called Nick? Because he's got those strange beliefs, and he works as a tarot reader, and he's just crazy. I mean, well, why would I listen to him? So don't worry about that. But like with this orgonite stuff, I was thinking like, that's even more. Okay, that makes me when I'm normal look a little more abnormal. Okay, I just think like it's like resin with bits of metal in it and a couple of crystal stones and so what. Okay, but there's so much of it about. And I've been watching this video about this guy who's got these devices which can measure fields coming off stuff, and there are real readings coming off these things. So maybe the use of the orgonite, maybe if I did get the orgonite and put that on the input plates and put a crystal on the output plates, that would actually help. The purpose of the crystal is there to be a receptacle of the intention you're putting in. Now, I've had experiences when I was young of using a crystal point to change the properties of fluids through meditation and sending of energy. That actually happened. Okay, that was weird, but that's actually something I've done. I can't do that as much or in the same way these days. Maybe my energy field and mind and body is different. Okay, but I did that then. So crystals for sending energy, yeah, that can make sense. And this whole device and setup is about sending energy, but it's not just into something. Now, if I'm doing something using those lovely Sai Sanvagini cardy things, or the other geometric cards which are out there based upon the Malcolm Ray system, then maybe you add the crystal and the orgonite and the symbol and the meditation on the symbol and what it's supposed to mean, and then you send it off at a moment of crescendo once you've tuned your little knobs and dials and things. There is some kind of hypothetical thing to that. Okay, so again, I'm just putting ideas together here. So orgonite, I can't even believe I'm saying the word, to be quite honest, but either way, orgonite to provide extra energy to the system, and a crystal placed on the output plate to act as a receptacle for the intention. The antenna added to the output plate or the extension plate as well, to make it that little bit more either sci-fi wires for my psychology, or a little bit more able to actually send something out. Just maybe this is how I should be operating, or maybe this is the system of my dreams when it comes to this kind of thing. I don't know. I honestly don't know. But as I say, even with this homemade version of the Cosmano box thing, I had my intention there. You can't work out what the intention is from that little code, but the intention was there, and I'm getting a particular result, through using it like a wishing machine, and that's odd. Very odd. Okay. The intention I set on this device to try and help a friend of mine, when I had the aerial plugged in, went in there with prayer and meditation, playing around with the Isis pendulum above it to try and raise energy, send energy, banish negativity, that kind of thing, after having doused the code. Okay. That's a guy who's having some positives in his life now, from what I can tell. Okay. Again, coincidence. Maybe. Maybe this one, the thing which happened with this one was coincidence too. Maybe. But it just seems a little unlikely. But as what from past experience, then hey presto, stuff is going on, stuff is happening. Again, coincidences. Essentially using magic. Okay. But I'm beginning to think, both from a psychological point of view, okay, as well as from a technological point of view, that there is something to this stuff. Okay, these radionic devices, the Hieronymus type machines, the 3-dial box with its circuitry inside, which makes no sense whatsoever. Now, And incorporating it all together. You know, I've got my dowsing charts on this one here. I went into the supermarket to get myself a smoothie, and hey presto, they had just what I required. A little coincidence there. Okay. So incorporating the ideas of these geometry cards, the way that they're used in accordance with what it says in the Sangiovini website, which I really want you guys to have a look at. Okay, Sangiovini. Okay, and how they suggest that you should use these things. Plus number codes 0 to 10, base 10 radionic system. Okay. Plus all the other stuff that goes with this is building itself up into a bit of a system, a system which does stuff. Okay, some ideas, thoughts and feelings are just like permeating their way through into my mind, and it's beginning to make some kind of weird sense. And no, I haven't cured myself of my diseases, I haven't, total miracles have not happened. This is just an experiment, it's just fun, but maybe I could create for myself my own homeopathic remedies, and from a spirit of fun and recreation do stuff for myself and for others. It's one of those world of the weird fun toys. I mean, there's so many different interpretations out there. I guess these days pentagrams just make me feel a bit, cringeworthy. Lighting candles is that's more like a meditation type thing or a religious type thing. Maybe this is the way. This is the way to do stuff in a better way. Maybe I should actually find a way of getting a BNC cable to come out of here with a crystal point on the end, and see if I can then connect the use of numbers to an using the output and a crystal point somehow. I'll have to give that a bit of a thought. And then from the crystal point, then direct that into a fluid or a food. Use a combination of these things, maybe one of the extension plates, plug into the input, with a Sangiovini card placed onto the input, frequency generator then plugged into the extension plate, into the board, number code as well, output plate to a crystal, and either use that to send up to the universe in prayer and supplication, or indeed to direct it down to something. Okay, add to it all my wonderful, fantastic Isis pendulum. Whoops, there we go, just get that out of there because it looks nice and you want to see it anyway. There we go, brass on purple, isn't that a beautiful colour combination? Okay, and use the Eric Hunter pendulum healing techniques to banish negativity and to raise positive energy for the good of all and that kind of stuff, and it's all kind of making sense in some kind of strange way. Whether it does anything or not, I mean, that's again open to speculation. And so we get coincidence, we get some wonderful coincidences, we get some good things happening for people. It's stuff, it's just stuff moving me forward. And something for you personally out there, says he, pointing to himself through a camera lens, for you to think about